Hello students, I hope all of you are doing very well. So in this particular video, we are going to start Standard 12 Physics Volume 1 and Unit 2. This is the first video of second unit. Fine. So in today's video, we will study only about the objectives and introduction of this unit. Okay, and section 2.1, that is current electricity. Okay, means whenever current flows, what really happens inside a conductor and what is the definition of current. Fine. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe it. Okay, please like and share my channel, my videos to your friends, and please hit the bell icon so that whenever I will upload a new video, you will get its instant notification in your Chrome browser or Google browser or any other browser which you use. Please type youtube.com/c/pratiction classes and it will take you to all my previous videos or the videos which I will upload in coming times. Fine. I request all of you to give the feedback related to this video and all my previous videos also if you wish, okay, such that I can improve the material for your benefits. Okay, please comment in the comment section of this video. Fine. So let us start our today's video tutorial. Alright, so let us start our today's class. The topic is current electricity. This is unit 2 of volume 1 of standard 12 physics. Fine. In your previous unit, you have studied a lot of things which were correlated to the previous classes like class 9th, 10th and 11th. Fine. In this unit also, that is current electricity, you will need the preface of unit 1 as well as the previous classes. Okay. If you remember the terms a little bit, it will help you here to understand the things very well. Fine. So first, let us see what are the learning objectives. Means in this unit, what are the things we are going to see. This unit is smaller than the previous unit, so I hope this will be finished in very less time, not much like the previous unit. Fine. Okay, so let us start about the learning objectives of this second unit. Fine. The first one is flow of charges in a metallic conductor. About flow of charges, we already have studied in first unit. Okay, here when charges flows through a material, what really things happen inside the material body, okay, will be studied. Then we will study about Ohm's law. About Ohm's law, we already have studied in class 9th and 10th. But here we will study its applications in brief, and then we will also study about what is the relationship between voltage and current. Okay. Then we will study about carbon resistors and combination of resistors. Okay. Carbon resistor is a type of resistor. Okay. Till now you have studied in class 9th about resistors and its combinations like parallel combination and series combination, and then what is the equivalent resistance in parallel as well as in series combinations of either 2 or 3 resistors you have studied in previous classes in class 10th. Okay, we will study in deep here about how resistance is affected by current or how current and resistance are correlated with each other, and what is its relationship with voltage and a lot of its other phenomenon. Then we will study about Kirchhoff's law, okay, and in that there will be a subtopic of Wheatstone bridge and its application. This topic is too much important because in every 2 or 3 years repetition, this question comes in a board exam and it will be of 5 marks. Earlier this question, Wheatstone bridge and its application, was of 12 marks, but for you it will be of 5 marks. Okay, then we will see about electric power and electric energy. Okay, about power and energy you already have studied in class 9th as well as in class 10th and in 11th also. Okay, but here we will see both the terms with respect to electric current. Fine. Then we will study about heating effect. Okay, that means when current passes through any appliance or applications, okay, it becomes hot. Then we will study about Joule's law and its experimental verification and applications. About Joule's law you already have studied in previous class, but here we will try to find out its verification with the help of experiment and what are its uses in day-to-day life we will study. Okay, there we will study about whenever current passes through any conductor, the temperature of the conductor increases. That means there is generation of heat happens. Then what is the relationship between that heat and the current we will study. Okay, that means when we keep voltage constant and increase or decrease the current, then how much will be the increase or decrease of the temperature in the metallic conductor will be there, and a lot of other phenomena we will study here. Then we will study about thermoelectric effects. Okay, the name itself suggests thermo means heat and electric means electricity, electric current. That means when current passes through any conductor, okay, how much amount of current will create how much amount of heat, and based on this there will be three subtopics. Those are Seebeck effect, Peltier effect and Thomson effect, which we will study here in brief. Okay, while I am going through these topics, I request you all to be clear in the first unit, because it will help you to understand here, as well as if your foundation of standard 10th physics is very good, okay, it will help you to understand the things very easily. So let us start our today's class, that is unit 2 electric current, standard 12th physics. Let us start this unit with a small introduction. Okay, in first unit we have studied the properties of charges when it is at rest. Okay, that means we have studied about electrostatics. Okay, in reality the charges are always moving within the materials. Okay, so wherever you will go in this universe, okay, in this cosmos, it always happens that charges move with respect to each other and with respect to a particular point, particular position. Okay, charges never stays rest. For example, the electrons in a copper wire are never at rest and are continuously in random motion. Even if you take a solid cube or any shape of any kind of material, okay, every material consists of electrons, whether it is a conductor, non-conductor, semiconductor, whatever things you look around you, everything contains electron. Okay, whether it is in solid phase or liquid phase or in gaseous phase. Okay, even though you look a material in a solid phase, okay, if you go to its microscopic level, you will imagine or you will see that all the subatomic particles are always at random motion. Therefore, it is important to analyze the behavior of charges when it is at motion. Okay, and you know very well that as I have started my video of first unit, I have said that the study of charges is in motion is called as electrodynamics. Okay, so it is not false to say that this unit consists of electrodynamics. The motion of charges is called electric current. Okay, whenever there is something flows, we call it current. Okay, in a river, when water flows in a particular direction, we show that water current or river current. Likewise, whenever charges flow in a particular direction, we say it as electric current. Okay, current electricity is thus a study of flow of electric charges. And whenever in physics we say charges, it not only means only about electrons, it means protons also, or sometimes ions, whether positive or negative. Okay, it owes its origin to Alessandro Volta. Okay, see, this is pronunciated as Alessandro Volta, not as Alessandro Volta. Okay, what both are correct in our current scenario. Whatever you want, you can use. Okay, he invented the electric battery which produced the first steady flow of electric current. Okay, we know very well about battery. Everywhere we use it in automobiles, two-wheelers, four-wheelers, or any vehicle. Okay, then in torch, in cell phones, everywhere we use battery. Okay, and what does it do? It gives us the flow of charge. It gives us the charges which makes the things to run. Okay, modern world depends heavily on the use of electricity. We can't even live without electricity for a moment. For everything these days, we are totally dependent on electricity. Okay, and to make this earth green, every country's government is trying to reduce the use of fossil fuels. So they are trying to enhance the use of electric vehicles, whether it is automobile, trains, cars, anything. Okay, it is used to operate machines, very well, we know very well. Okay, communication systems like telephone, mobile phones, okay, walkie talkie, or any other device which we use for our communication system. Then electronic devices, okay, TV, laptop, anything, home appliances like refrigerators, washing machine, okay, kettles, etc. In this unit, we will study about the electric current, resistance, and related phenomenon in materials. Okay, means whenever current flows in any kind of material, okay, what really happens in a macroscopic way as well as in microscopic way. Okay, then we will study about resistance. Means whenever current flows in a conductor, doesn't it give any kind of resistance to it? Okay, or the current can flow in any kind of conducting material freely. Okay, does it really happen in our day-to-day life? And then a lot of other phenomena which are related to these topics. Fine, so let us start our today's chapter. All right, section 2.1, the first topic of unit 2, that is current, electricity. Matter is made up of atoms, you know very well, and atoms are again made up of electrons, protons, and neutrons. Fine. Each atom consists of positively charged nucleus with negatively charged electrons moving around the nucleus. Okay. Nucleus is the central position of any atom where there are positive charges and neutral charges. Positive charges like protons and neutral charges like neutrons, and electrons move around it in particular direction and at particular distance. Okay, known as cells and subcells. Okay, when we will study further about Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, there we will see that electrons doesn't move, or the path of electron is not perfectly spherical. It is something like zigzag, and the radius of any particular cell is the median of the least and the farthest distance from the center. Okay, so let us leave that topic for future. Fine. Atoms in metals have one or more electrons which are loosely bound to the nucleus. Okay, here the word came, loosely bound to the nucleus, means they can move or they can be detached away from the nucleus. Okay, that doesn't mean that it always happens. Okay, there is always some force of attraction, but they are loosely attracted or loosely packed. The electrons are called free electrons. Sorry, these electrons are called free electrons and can be easily detached from the atoms. Okay, means let me give you one small brief about what really this term mean. Okay, so listen carefully. What I am going to tell is very basic of class 9th and 10th physics as well as chemistry. Okay, and it will also help you to understand the things here. We know very well at the center there is nucleus which is highly positively charged. Okay, because of protons, and electrons rotate around it in a particular spherical path or in three-dimensional spherical path. Fine. So the first cell is demonstrated by K, okay, then second by L, and then M, and likewise. We know very well that the number of electrons filled in any orbit is given by 2n square, where n is the number of orbitals. So in first orbit, total number of electrons or maximum number of electrons to be filled is 2, in second orbit 8, in third orbit 18, and so on. Okay, now just imagine that the first cell or K cell is fully filled. Okay, that means 2 electrons are there and rotating around it in a three-dimensional circular path. Okay, in second orbit, suppose this is not fully filled. Suppose there is only 6 electrons. Okay, there are only 6 electrons. What really happens is it will also rotate around the nucleus in a particular path of three-dimensional sphere. okay, the first orbital electrons will create a shield around it, and because of that the force of attraction between the nucleus and the second orbit will decrease. Okay, so in that situation, as we go away from the nucleus, the force of attraction between the nucleus and the electrons will decrease, and so it is given here loosely packed. Fine, so I hope you understand the things very well. Okay, in chemistry it will come in a shielding effect. uh, Please refer chemistry book or ask your chemistry teacher. He or she will help you, guide you in a very better way. All right, so these loosely attached electrons can be detached from the atoms very easily. Okay, the substances which have an abundance of these free electrons are called conductors. That means in conductors there are huge number of free electrons or loosely bound electrons with the nucleus. These free electrons move at random throughout the conductor at a given temperature. Fine. So at any particular temperature, those loosely bound electrons jump from one atom to other in its vicinity, and it happens throughout the conducting material. Okay, so in general, due to this random motion, there is no net transfer of charges from one end of the conductor to the other end, and hence no current. So what really means is the freely bound electrons or the free electrons, they move in a random direction. Means if n number of electrons is going in any particular direction, same amount of electrons will go in its opposite direction, and in all three-dimensional region. Okay, because of that total flow of charges in any particular direction is equal to 0, and hence there happens no current. So when a potential difference is applied by the battery across the ends of the conductor, the free electrons drift towards the positive terminal of the battery, producing a net electric current. Okay, so what really happens is, suppose you have a battery, okay, and when it is attached with any kind of conductor, suppose this is the positive side and this is the negative side, or positive terminal and negative terminal. Okay, we know very well that charges flows from the negative terminal of the battery outside. Okay, and by flowing in the conductor, again it comes back to the positive terminal of the battery. Okay, so what here the author is trying to say is that whenever a potential difference is applied, that means whenever the battery is switched on and the circuit is closed, okay, the charges present in the conductor, or you can say that the free charges present in the conductor will be drifted towards the positive terminal. Means electrons will come out from the negative terminal of the battery, and it will push the electrons of the conductor in forward direction. Okay, that means there will happen a net flow of charges in a particular direction and towards the positive terminal. Okay, and because of that particular drift in a particular direction, okay, there happens current in the conductor. This is easily understandable from analogy given in figure 2.1. Let us see what really is given there. So as you can see here in figure 2.1 that copper wire is here, a conductor is here, and it is attached to a battery. Okay, and you can see here that the current is flowing in this direction. Okay, means in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, but the flow of charges will always be from a negative terminal of the battery outside to the positive terminal. Always remember that the flow of charge and the flow of current are totally opposite of each other. Okay, the flow of current is taken as the conventional direction, and the flow of charge is the real direction of the flow of charges inside the conductor or the material. Fine. So what really happens here is when the wire is attached to the battery and the circuit is closed and the battery is switched on, okay, in that situation the charges will come out of the negative terminal of the battery, okay, and it will push the free electrons available in the wire, okay, in forward direction. That means in a particular direction it will be drifted, and it will flow all around the wire and come back to the positive terminal of the battery. So here the charges are moving in a particular direction, and hence there happens some net movement or net movement of charges, and because of that it creates current. Okay. Okay, fine. So in previous class, in class 11th in volume 2 unit 6, we have studied about the mass move from higher gravitational potential to lower gravitational potential. Okay, in the chapter gravity we have seen. Likewise, positive charges flow from higher electric potential to lower potential, and negative charge in vice versa. That means from lower electric potential to higher electric potential. So battery or electric cell simply creates potential difference across the conductor, and because of that the charges move in a particular direction. Always remember that charges outside the battery moves from negative terminal to positive terminal, but inside the battery it moves from positive terminal to negative terminal of the battery. Okay, and this charge is the negative charge. Fine. Now here the special topic or the main topic begins. The electric current in a conductor is defined as the rate of flow of charge through a given cross-sectional area A. Okay, what does it really mean? Okay, the term here rate of flow has come. That means in per unit time and per unit area, how much amount of charges has flown in that. Okay, so let us try to figure it out from this one. Okay, that is figure 2.2. okay, here charges are flowing. You can see there we have a wire whose cross sectional area here is A as given here. Okay, and positive charges are moving in this particular region in particular time. Okay, so the amount of charge moved through this region in per unit time is called as electric current. Okay, so it is given here in highlighted point. If a net charge q passes through any cross section of a conductor in time t, then current is defined as I is equal to q by t. Okay, but the charge flow is not always constant. At some instant it will be very high, at some instant low, and different at different time. So however, instead of saying current, we say average current and denote it by I average. Okay, so here I average is equal to del q by del t. Okay, what is here del q? See here this triangle del is called as delta, and in short it is said as del. Okay, so you can say it as delta q or del q, and in denominator delta t or del t. Most of the time we say the short form. So I average is equal to del q by del t. So this is the general definition of current. Okay, so here delta q is the amount of charge that passes through the conductor at any cross section during the time interval delta t. And you know very well that whenever we use delta and whenever we use d, okay, as prefix, okay, I already have taught you when we have gone through first unit. If the rate at which charge flows changes in time, the current will also change. Okay, so we need to define instantaneous current. Okay, instantaneous current means at any particular time what is the amount of current flowing in a conductor in a cross sectional area of a cross sectional area, particular cross sectional area. The instantaneous current I defined as the limit of average current, means when we make this delta t tend to 0, that means very small, then I is equal to limit del q by del t, where del t tends to 0 is equal to dq by dt. So this dq by dt is called as instantaneous current, and del q by del t is called as average current. Okay, so here in equation 2.2, the correct way to read this equation is like this: I is equal to limit del q by del t, where del t tends to 0. Okay, so this is the current way to read this loudly. Fine. we know very well from previous chapters and also in previous classes that SI unit of current is called as ampere. So 1 ampere is defined as 1 coulomb by 1 second, means in 1 second if the charge flowing is 1 ampere, 1 coulomb is called as 1 ampere. All right, that is 1 ampere is of current is equivalent to 1 coulomb of charge passing through a perpendicular cross section in 1 second, and the electric current is a scalar quantity. Please remember very well that electric current has direction as well as magnitude, but it is not a vector quantity, it's a scalar quantity. Why? Because electric current do not follow the law of triangular addition or the vector law of triangular addition. That is why it is an scalar quantity. Okay. Alright, so this is just an introduction of second unit of first volume standard 12 physics. I hope you have studied here or learned here something new, okay, that what is the meaning of current and related phenomenon, okay. About its brief we will come in our later videos, okay. In our next video we will study about section 2.1.1, that is conventional current, okay. What is really conventional current, or is there any kind of difference between current and conventional current, we will study there, okay. Then one thing I have shared you today that so just few moments earlier, that when current passes and when charge passes, then the directions are taken opposite, okay. What really mean, okay, have I said it wrong or you have listened it wrong? So we will study there. You can see here direction of current and direction of flow of electrons, okay. So obviously I am right, okay. How does it happen, why does it happen, we will see in our next video. Till my next video, take care of yourself. Bye bye.